I guess the best thing I can tell you guys is what I always do is, hey, shuffle real quick. And I'll watch and I'm like, oh, like, well, here's what we got going on. So just shuffle. Good. Walk back in. So as you notice, he's like got a lot of oscillation up and down. So now I think push harder and longer. So squat down. Push harder and longer and find that glute, trying to push more. There we go. Better. Good job. Yeah. Did you feel a difference there? Yeah. So now he's actually getting into his hip pocket now. He's actually using his glute med. He's actually using his glute max. He's using his quads now. And so once they start nailing this, you just keep having them do it. You ready? Go again. Cool. And you can also use this as like a movement assessment, in my opinion. Like just watching athletes move, a lot of them will lack the ability to rotate. And so what I'll tell these guys now is, hey, your right shoulder and your left knee or left hip work together. Hey, your other shoulder and your other knee, so it's a cross pattern, right? So what that means is I can actually get into my hip pocket and like push away now. That's what we want. We want to have some of that take place. The upper body will close, so you get some flexion extension. That's allowing the connective tissue, but it's also allowing you to find more power getting into extension that way. And so just, you can loosen them up top, just squat down and start pushing. Yeah, just let it happen. Good. We see this a lot with our skill guys, is like their T-spines are locked, whereas they actually can't rotate. And so what I'll do too is, we all probably seen what's the strap, that long strap. I'll drag one of those over and connect it to 1080. So now you have rotation taking place and lateral force taking place. So now you have two things working together, rotational force, horizontal force, and some vertical force, which we don't really get in the weight room, right? Yep.
Just keep going.
Just keep going. Good. Good. Yep. We can move this up a little more for you if you want. Okay, we're gonna crank it up to 25, and yeah, just think push harder and longer. Good, good, yeah, good. So this is a way we can actually re-engineer more knee extension for guys. Guys coming back with injuries, knee extension, hip extension work, abduction of the hip. You're getting some external rotation, internal rotation. So you're literally adding degrees of freedom now to this pelvis. Good, yeah. We will get to that at some point, but what you'll realize is people can't even do that right, let alone this right. And so what we have to do is we have to regress a little bit, and that's not a bad question at all. It's just if I'm trying to balance on one leg, if I don't have a double support to push lateral, like a triangle, doing the single leg version is not going to be much better. And so you can get to that, yeah, but what we have realized is this is the biggest bang for our buck right now, is moving lateral this way. And then you can add in like a speed shuffle if you want, so you can start adding in different variants. So what we can do now is shuffle out, and then once you get there, I'll crank it up a little bit and have you just walk in against resistance. Sound good? Yeah, so you can talk to me too and let me know. Even slower, even slower. You really resist this thing, really resist. There we go.
What load are you on?
25 concentric, 30 eccentric. Yeah, there you go. You feel that?
Yeah, I can probably do more.
Cool. And you just can start talking to the athlete now. Ideally, if you look at deceleration, they're going to need this. They're also going to need forward. So me like walking in this way, they're going to need these pieces for deceleration. And so this is a way we can slow down time, work on posture, and they can really feel like what needs to work. Yep. There you go. You good? One more? So this is 25 and 40 at 1.5 meters per second. Good, good. There we go. Getting his workout in today. And as you notice, that you can work on, look at his feet, like, hey, turn your toe in a little more, get some internal rotation. There we go. Yeah, find the whole foot. Let that knee come over the toe a little bit. So now you can give coaching cues of what you're seeing. It's slow enough that you guys can do that. The one last thing I'll have you do is just walk backwards. And I'll have you go backwards and then walk against resistance. We call it sloth walking, so like just go slow as you think, okay? Yeah, so walk in now. Be on that limb longer. Dig that heel in, heel to toe.
There we go. Heel to toe. There we go. More heel. There we go. Keep the whole foot flat. Good. Good job. No, we've toyed around with barefoot. I'm impartial, to be honest with you, yes or no. Like, the Achilles guys I worked with at University of Washington, they did all of this barefoot. Running linear, lateral, everything, you name it. I just was like, why? And they said, it feels better. I can feel my feet. I said, cool. So like I've worked with big guys, small guys. I might live on the heavier, slower stuff a little bit more with those guys. Yeah. But they're also gonna hold heavier load in isos as well. So imagine like a safety bar with 225 holding the bottom. One example. They're also gonna have probably a little bit more bilateral in nature. I couldn't give you a good reason. So yeah, I think there is some like positional aspect, but I think at the end of the day, we're using this to uncover human movement. I won't have them jump as much, the big guys. They'll do fast eccentrics, catching weight, jumping with weight. CMJs with load in their hand. We're trying to get as heavy as we can freaking go early in the off season. It's just because it allows to remodel the tissue, longer lengths, so eccentric tissue remodeling. The braking, we're preparing them for getting them to run and decelerate. That's why. So we just got to look at it as, okay, if I go 30 out and we can get up to 60 at, 2 meters per second, that's a beast. That's a beast. It's going to make them get low. It's going to make them get low. It's going to make them change their positions and their posture for sure. And what you'll realize is a lot of guys, when they decel, they're on their toes too much. And so when they go outside and decelerate, what are they doing then? Probably that. And so this is a way you can get good coaching in by opening up that time and that impulse like lens as we talked about. So yeah, essentially what it would be is he would put it around that shoulder and it would wrap him around. So it'd be like, do you have one? What it's teaching you is I have it on this shoulder and it's crossing my body. So it's feedback for people. And so when they push lateral, they can feel the strap in their hip, yes or no. And if their hip is away from the strap, that's a problem, right? There's too much knee extension, not enough hip extension. And so put it on that shoulder, wind towards that way. You're good, no, you're good. I got you, turn that way, bingo. Keep going, just keep it on the shoulder. You're not going anywhere, yeah. Turn one more time. There we go. So he would be pushing off the right? So you're gonna rip this thing. No. He'd be pushing off this right. If this was getting gapped between that hip, this glute is not extending. He's getting too much knee and too much ankle, right? So it's gonna look like this, where it's an RDL. He's getting straining of that proximal attachment as opposed to like getting into that hip to push. And so like it would look like that, yep. So just squat down and just find that glute pushing. There. It would look like this. Does that make sense? That rotational though is getting the shearing in the spine, and he's learning how to close and open, close and open, close and open. It's a very different mechanism. When you put it on your waist, you can hide a lot, whereas that strap, it's incorporating the shoulder, the contralateral shoulder to the hip.